Howdy y'all, GamerBeardly here. Thank you for dropping in, and it is lovely to have you here today. Since I've gotten back into World of Warcraft, I've decided to do a couple of tutorials. Hopefully this will turn into a little bit of a series. Today I'm going to show you how to create a power bar using WeakAuras, which is a very powerful add-on that is highly recommended. You can do tons of things with it. I am by no means an expert. This is a very minor creation, but I believe it is a useful one. As I said, we're going to be creating a power bar. In particular, I'm going to be creating a rage bar because I'm a warrior, although I will leave appropriate help in the description for what to change in the code we'll be using to make it work for other forms of power as well. This rage bar will show up both in combat and out of combat, but only when you actually have rage. So if you don't have a rage, the bar will be hidden. Knowing outside of combat how much rage you have going into a fight is immensely useful, particularly between trash mobs or after trash but before a boss. This way you can decide based on how much rage you have whether you want to pop Berserker's Rage before the fight or save the cooldown. The bar hides itself when you have no rage and then appears once you start gaining rage. At 60 plus rage or another value you determine, the color of the bar will change from red to green, though you can change those colors as you want. For me, being warrior, it makes sense for the bar to start red, and it changes to green to let you know that you have a little more freedom to spend it. Then once you get to 85 rage or more, the bar will start pulsing white with a red background and show a message stark and bold over the bar in all caps that says rage dump now, to help make sure you never hit the rage cap. Of course, that 85 power value can be adjusted if your power bar or playstyle requires a different value. This bar will also work for other forms of power beyond just rage, such as energy for rogues or runic power for death knights, and only requires a minor alteration, and I'll show you where to make those adjustments during the tutorial and also leave notes in the description below. To get started, we're going to open WeakAuras by typing /WA, and we're going to go New, and we're going to select Progress Bar. We're going to name it, since I'm a warrior, I'm naming it Rage Bar. Left text over here we're going to start with under display. By default, the %N there means it takes the name of the bar. So I don't want anything to show there since this is rage bar. I know what it is. I just want it to be a bar in my face. I'm going to type in a space and then hit the OK button over here. Right text is %P, which is progress. That's the value from the lower value to the upper value of the bar, so from 1 to 120 for a glyph of unending rage warrior, and that's what I want that there. You can go here, this icon, you can get rid of it. I'm going to, but first, stacks here. This is that one that's on here. We're gonna get rid of that. Once you get rid of the icon, it goes away. And there shouldn't be any stacks with rage, but I prefer to get rid of it anyways, just in case. If you want an icon, you can choose one by getting rid of the auto tick here and choose, and you can choose any one of these if you wish. I don't want any of them, so I'm going to untick icon here, and that gets rid of the icon. Here you can change the colors, so you could change this to a darker red if you wished, or any other color along the spectrum. I want red, so I'm not going to change that. Over here on background color, you could change the background to white or whatever you wanted by flipping around this spectrum. Again, I want it black, so I'm going to leave it black. Here, I like having this spark. That is a personal decision. You don't have to have it if you don't want it. I'm going to have it. Left text, I'm just going to uncheck because I don't have any left text. Right text, here I can change the font type and font size of the number over here on the right. I'm going to move over to SCT Adventure because I like that font and I've been using it for everything else. And I'm going to make this font size 17, which may end up getting changed a little bit later. And font flags, I'm actually going to leave this alone. Down here, you can change the height and width and the X and Y offset, which we'll do in a minute. I'm going to make this height 40, and I'm going to leave it 200 height because that actually happens to fit basically perfectly in this spot right here. So I'm going to make that 0 offset to horizontally center it. Then we're going to move over here to trigger. So the first trigger is what's going to make sure that the bar does not show up unless we actually have rage. So we're going to go down here to type status. The status we're looking at is not health, but power. So we move that down to power. Unit type, leave this as player. It won't work if you use something else. Go to power type. This is one place where you can change which type of power you're using: mana, rage, focus, energy, happiness, or runic power. As a warrior, I'm going to choose rage here, and then we're going to click power. This is going to determine that it hides when we don't have rage. So operator is greater than 0. So this bar will not show up unless we have more than 0 power. That's what this trigger is doing. We're going to add a second trigger, however, because we want a second bar to show up. But we only want that bar to show up when we are over 85 energy. I'm sorry, over 85 rage. So we're going to get rid of this bar once we hit 85 rage so that other bar can take priority. So we're going to do that by adding another trigger. Again, type is status. The status we're looking at is power. Unit is player. Power type, again, is rage or whatever you chose to begin with. And we're going to go power. Operator. We want this to go away once we hit 85. So these triggers are what determine when the bar shows up. So we're going to go less than 85. If it's 0 or 85 and higher, the bar will not show up. So that's what this does. This is a personal choice. If you only play a warrior or some other class that uses rage, you could leave this. I play other characters, so I don't want this bar to show up when I log onto my druid. So I'm going to choose load player class warrior. This will only show up if I am playing a warrior. Doesn't matter what server I'm on or whatever. If I'm playing a warrior, this will show up. You can put a lot more granularity into this if you wanted. You could, if you're only on a night elf warrior, you could put this if you wanted or whatever. I'm not going to do that. Player class warrior is sufficient for me. Then the final thing we're going to do to make this bar complete is we're going to move over to animations and type custom, because we have to use a little bit of code to make this work. The animations require a number in here for duration, so we're going to go 1, and we're going to go down here to color and custom function. Then we're going to go in here and get rid of all this code. We're not going to use that. I will have code or a link to Pastebin with the code in the description below. I'm going to copy and paste this in. So I am not a programmer, but I'm going to do a little bit of explaining. This is we're calling a function here, and these are variables that are pulled from the client, from the server. Here we're declaring a variable that we're using later on, player rage, and that is called from unit power here. And this is one of those places where you change what type of power it's using. 1 is rage. I will have the values for other power types in the description below. Down here, we're just clearing variables, setting them all to 0. Here, if player rage is greater than 85, then red, green, blue are all equal to 1. And since they're all full value, it'll be white. That's what you're doing there. You're just combining different values of different colors. This value is not actually, this line here is not actually used since we don't allow the bar to show up at 85 or higher. But you could move this down to say 65. So once you get to 60, it'll turn green. Then once you get to 65, it'll turn white. I don't want to do that. I have that in there so I can change this in the future if I want to. And it may be useful for you with other classes. The second line here in the if-else statements, else if player rage is greater than 60, then red, green, blue are equal to 0, 1, 0. So red is equal to 0, green is equal to 1, blue is equal to 0. So that means the bar is going to be green. Then the final else, this is just setting the default state, red, green, blue is equal to 1, 0, 0. That just means it's going to be red unless one of these other statements are met. Then we end that if-else statement and we have to return something. That's the way that functions work, and we end. And that's the way that works. Done and that bar should now be complete. We smack it, look, we got a power bar. Now we get up above 60 and it goes green. Now above 85, it's gone. That's the way that should work. So we're going to continue. One more thing, in display, you can change the texture of the bar. The default is Blizzard, which is that smooth texture. I like Frost, which gives it this texture. I like it. You may hate it. That's fine. Use whatever you want. This is your choice to make. The next bar, once we've got this set up and in the place we want, I like where it is. We're good. We're going to right click on it in WeakAuras and we're going to duplicate. And I'm going to Rage Bar Flash. That's what I'm going to name that. Now I'm going to go up here to new right quick. We're going to create a group and I'm going to call that Rage Bar Group. Sure, why not? Then to put these in that group, we're going to click on this arrow here, and we're going to choose the group. And then we're going to do the same with the other bar, choose the group. We're going to click the plus sign here to expand, and this did it by default. I like putting the flashing bar on top of the other bar inside the group just to visually identify which one is the higher priority, which one shows up over the other. So Rage Bar is set up. We're going to go here to Rage Bar Flash now, and we're going to go to animations. We're going to get rid of this. We don't want this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Preset. We're going to set it to preset, and I'm going to set it to flash because that's what I like. You can use any one of these you want. I like flash. Flash is what works for me. We're going to go back over here to display, and I want the bar color to be white, and I want the background color to be red. And on the left text, we're putting Rage Dump Now. Okay. And then we actually need to go over here and re-enable the left text. And again, I'm going to make the text SCT Adventure and 17, which is raw. Yeah, that's actually going to have to go down. 15, and I want it outlined. And we go over to trigger and choose trigger 2 and delete trigger. We only need one trigger for this. And that is, all of this is fine except for right here, power. We want that is greater than equal to 85. Okay. Now we go back in here and we beat up on this thing. That bar is not there, but now once we get over 85, it is there. And at this point, you have a completely working Rage Bar. You can do a number of things to adjust it as you wish. This is how I like having it, but you can do whatever you wish with yours. So in the next video, we'll go over some other WeakAuras I've set up for my warrior, letting me know when a bunch of my cooldowns or procs are up. For instance, for Fury, my sudden death, or Raging Blows, or Meat Cleaver or Blood Surge, and Enraged in particular. And for tanking, also my Shield Block and Shield Barrier and Shield Wall and Last Stand and all those other things. I have WeakAuras set up to show me when those things are up, when the cooldown, when the buff drops off, how many stacks I have of various things. All useful information right in front of me where I can see it without having to take my eyes off of where I need to be looking. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you, and I hope that the rest of my my tutorials will be helpful as well. These are useful for helping me learn how to use the stuff as well. So I hope that this has been informative and helpful to you. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you all later. In the meantime, y'all have fun now. Bye!